What's up, guys? Neandre Broussard here, CEO of Black Menswear, host of Dapper Conversation. We're bringing you Dapper Conversations today, live from Studio G&M here in Baltimore, Maryland. We got two dope guests representing this area. We got Jermaine Gibbs, photography extraordinaire, historian by pictures. We've also got Wade Menendez, entrepreneur, author, that are joining us today to drop some gems on you guys. So don't miss out. Go ahead and get your pen and your paper ready. Take those notes, because I promise you they're going to say something that can change the outlook of your business. Come on, let's get to it. And I appreciate y'all for joining us today. Really excited, of course. We in y'all city. You know what I'm saying? We up here. And what you say it's called?
Be more.
Be more. Really excited to be here for this episode of Dapper Conversations. Thank you, Jermaine. Thank you, Wade, for joining us today. So I'm gonna get right to it. First of all, because we're here in y'all city, right? Y'all area, y'all gotta let me know, because I ain't from around these parts, right? So you have to let me know what's so special about the Charm City.
The crab cakes, the crabs. Baltimore has very unique people. I think that's the best way to put it. You have a good mixture of your professionals, your dream chasers, your people who, you know, they're at a place where the street divide like this, and you either choose to go down the path that's destruction, or I want to get out of this and get to somewhere where I never thought or imagined I can get to.
That's a good play. When you think about the two paths you take, right? Wade, what about you, man? What's your perspective on this city?
I mean, I agree with Jermaine, honestly, man. You know, it's a good mix of professional and, you know, Baltimore is known for being a little, but I think that it's a great city. A lot of people are hungry for more as well, and of course, like, you know, the crab cakes, you know, the crabs, everybody, you know, from the Maryland crabs, bro, right, from all over the world. I have a lot of people that travel to come see me for what I do, and the first thing they want to, after they finish getting their hair done, I need a crab cake, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely known for those things, for sure.
Now, you mentioned what it is you do, and you know, we know what you guys are, leaders in your fields, you know, in photography and content creation, in entrepreneurship, especially in the lane that you've opened up within the cosmetics industry. I'll just put it that way. With the idea around this word focus, right? That's the primary aspect of why we're here today, to pick your guys' brain on this whole idea of focus, right? Jermaine, like, how important is it to maintain focus on your end goal? As you are looking at getting from point A to point B, you know, looking back at your journey, how important was focus a part of that?
Oh, I think that was probably number one, because again, coming into an industry that every other day there's a new photographer on the scene, and it's, for me, it was about creating a lane so there was no competition. So in order for me to do that, I had to stay focused. I couldn't worry about what everybody else is doing, or, oh, he's doing this, let me try to do something that's close to that, but not doing exactly what he's doing. I took the total different route and said, you know what, I'm going the direction where there is no competition, and tapping into the markets that people not even think that's going to take them to a level where they're going to be like, how did you get there? Yeah. So I chose to go that route, and of course I had to be laser focused, because, you know, that's all it takes is taking a week off, and next thing you know is like trying to get your brain right back down to get, because you got to tap into this creative side, and tapping into the creativity, really you have to be super focused, because, you know, I can take a week off, go on vacation, and come back. Sometimes, I'm gonna be realistic, it may take me 3 or 4 days to readjust, because I haven't been behind the camera, I haven't been doing what I'm used to doing. So it's like, okay, what can I do to get back into my element? And most of the time it's just literally, let me just pick up my camera and just walk around the neighborhood and shoot some stuff that I'm not getting paid for, because that's going to really spark them creative juices to get back flowing. And then it's like, oh, okay, this is why I love doing what I do.
And I love the aspect around kind of getting tapped back in, right? Because again, one of the things I think that a lot of entrepreneurs get off track and then once they get off track, they're gone. Like the whole track is gone versus kind of being able to kind of steer themselves in. For you, Wade, what would you say? What would focus rank on your qualities that have allowed you to get to this point of your career?
Man, it had to be number one for real. Like, you know, in order to really succeed in whatever you want to be, you know, whatever lane you want to be in, you have to focus. You really have to focus. You can't be distracted. I recall, you know, just years. It's years of this though. You know, even before I started doing hair units and traveling the world teaching classes and all that stuff, or whatever. I was just a barber, but I was a barber. Like I wanted to be. I didn't want to be a normal barber. You know what I'm saying? I didn't look at it as a hustle. Like I'm just going to make some bread real quick and get out of here. No, it's like it's a business, and I had to kind of make it and treat it like a business. You know what I'm saying? Where other people was like, you know, being unprofessional with their craft. Other barbers, you know what I mean? People, you make an appointment, and you know somebody make an appointment, and you not there. You know what I mean? Right. Different things happening or whatever. You know, you taking breaks in the middle of somebody's cut. You know what I mean? Like, you know, or whatever. On the phone the whole time, being, you know, just. But it took focus, and I had to be disciplined. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? In a lot of areas. So I started. You know, I was like, okay, well, I want to set myself apart. Back in like 2004, it's like when I first got my barber license or whatever, and I was like one of the first barbers around my way that had a website. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to set myself apart from the normal person, and then also like while people were, you know, hanging out, and I'm not gonna say I was perfect with this, but it was something I tried to make a practice. But like while people were hanging out, you know, like other barbers, they stopping at 7 o'clock. I'm in there 11, 12. You know, there's times I've been in the shop 3 o'clock in the morning. It's not the most healthiest thing, but at the end of the day, I was focused on my goal. I was focused on what I was trying to get, and I was focused on stacking my bread, bro. Yeah. Like I was focused on just becoming wealthy. Now
I'm gonna ask you though. So you just brought up a great point. How do you find that balance?
Yeah. You know. So I didn't have a balance at first, and I'm not. And I tell everybody this, there is a season to grind and there's a season to have that balance though. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I feel like that, you know, you should have a level of balance, but there are times where you really need to put your all into your work, into what you have going on, because it's like you work hard now so you can rest later. Mm-hmm. And you can set that precedence, you know, you know, that foundation for later. And so I think I spent some years doing that. Just grinding out. You know, at the time I wasn't married. Then, you know, I didn't have a family or nothing like that or whatever. So I had time to be able to put into my business. Yeah. And honestly, bro, like I think that getting to the mental health part of that, the business was the only thing that there was a return on investment on. You know what I'm saying? I felt like that was my biggest return on investment. Putting it into people. Putting it into different things. At the time, I just felt like, I can chill on this. Let me focus on this first, and then that come. And then, you know, then eventually I had a baby and all that stuff, had a family and all that stuff. So yeah.
Jermaine, what about you? How do you balance being great, but still being present, being home, being in your community? How do you balance those things?
Again, like Wade said. It's a time to really, really grind out, and I did that in my first 5 years. Like I grind sun up to sundown. I wasn't in a relationship. I didn't have a young child. My son was like middle age, so I didn't have to worry about, and he lived in another state, so it allowed me to have a lot of free time. And that's when I really put my grind in. But I think once COVID hit, and having a daughter and being able to be like, you know, I ain't had no choice but to be home because people really wasn't booking photo shoots like that. So that really like, okay, this is my time to revamp Jermaine Gibbs, revamp my brand, and really come out of COVID and be on another level. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened, because I literally took like 6 months just to chill, focus, get caught up on everything, and was like, okay, where do I want to be at in the next 6 months? Where do I want to be in the next year? Where do I want to be in the next 5 years? Mm-hmm. And I know I'm setting myself up that 5 years from now, I will only be teaching and traveling. I don't want to be doing all hustle and bustle, so I'm already setting those stones and those things in place so it can be realistic.
I love that. Now, piggybacking on that, for you, Wade, how important is it to set not just, okay, what I'm doing next month, but what I'm doing next year, what I'm doing 3 years from now, what I'm doing 5 years from now, and have that as a goal? How important is that in your journey of entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I mean, without a vision, you're gonna get off track. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there's a scripture that says, you know, without the vision, people perish. And so if you don't know what you're working towards, you're gonna get off focus. Yeah. So if there's short-term goals, and then there's long-term goals. So you have to set, okay, what can I attain right now? What is 5 years from now? What is a year from now? And you know, and so on or whatever. So I think that's very, very important.
Yeah. So thinking about the goals that you've had thus far, that you've achieved and accomplished at this point, because I know both of you are like, I mean, I'm cool right now, but this ain't nowhere near where I want to be, right? Jermaine, what would you say to this point would be your greatest accomplishment, and why would you consider that to be your greatest accomplishment?
Oh, okay, so that's good. People always ask me that, and I get the same answer every time. I remember in 2013, I seen my career shifting. And one of the things that I always write down everything that I want to accomplish, and at the end of the year, I start looking back over it. And I wrote down that I want to be the legacy that I want to leave, and what I want people to remember me as. I want them to be able to go see my work in the Smithsonian. And then in 2015, I was at the right place at the right time, because it was the Freddie Gray riots. And I could have just said, oh, well, let me find a newspaper or outlet to shoot for and get a bag. But I said, you know, this is time to document history. And if I call myself a photographer and I really want to leave a legacy, this is the opportunity to get out there and do it. And I went out there for 10 days straight, 12 hours a day, documented. But I didn't do what everybody else was doing. I wasn't capturing all the busting the police cars out, busting all that. I was showing the Baltimore I remember back when I was young, where people loving each other, people that don't even know each other, hugging, people holding hands, praying. That's the stuff I documented, because I wanted people 20 years from now to be able to look back and say, wow, people always talk about the why and all this, but nobody really talked about, when they talk about the riots, they don't speak about these things. Nobody don't even know these things existed. So I was at the right place at the right time, and a curator from the Smithsonian tapped me on my shoulder and asked, was I a real photographer? The first day I was out, I gave him my card, and 2 weeks later I get an email and said, hey, I checked your work, I love your website, I would love to see those pictures from the riot, I don't see them on your website. I said, oh, well, they'll never go on my website. And then I scroll all the way to the bottom of the email, and I see the guy's name, and I see the curator at the Smithsonian. When I gave him my card, he never said who he was. I'm just thinking he's just a random guy. And I was like, this gotta be somebody playing a joke. And I responded back, and then they called me and they said, we love your eye, we love the concept, but we really want to see those images. And I said, oh, wow, I'll come.
Yeah, y'all the real deal.
Yeah, y'all the real deal. I'm on my way. And he was like, no. I'm going to reach out to the chief curator, and we're going to actually come to you. And I was like, nah, this is a dream. This not even a dream. This is a fantasy. This can't be happening. So lo and behold, they booked an appointment. They came to my home. I put together a whole little presentation that was like 3 minutes. And I plugged it on my big TV and turned it on, hit the play button. We got like 30 seconds into it, and they said, stop, we've seen enough. How can we get these photos? I said, oh, if you got external hard drive, you can get them today. Wow. He said, oh, well, we got one. I gave them to him, and it was a lot of like being patient, because we met probably 15, 20 times. Because then they was in the process of building, which is now the African American Museum in Washington, D.C., and they was putting together their collection for their grand open. And he reached out and said, I chose 19 of your images to be part of our collection, but we're going to put 6 in this actual exhibit. It's going to be a big grand opening and all this. And I was like, okay, cool. And I got the invitation in the mail. I was like, wow, this is, and then to actually go in there and see it, it was mind blowing. And then about a year ago, no, not even a year ago, the top of this year, he reached out again. Oh, they're using one of your photos for a new exhibition, but this one is going to be way bigger. And I said, okay, cool. He sent me a picture of it, but of course you can't get a just of a mural. The mural was probably like 20 feet high, and 50 feet wide. So you walk into this new exhibition, that's the first thing that slap you on your face. So it's like, whew, you know, that's why I'm like super adamant about writing down what I want to do and saying in my mind and going after everything I want, because, you know, a lot of people like the sky's the limit. No, the sky is not the limit. We all fly enough. We know the sky's not a limit because there's so much more up there past the sky. So I always say I'm trying to go as far as I can go, not the sky, because I've been on a plane 1,000 times. And if I say the sky the limit, that's high as I'm gonna go. But I want to go past that. So people always say, man, you doing so much. I want to be like you. And I said, you have no clue what I had to go through, the countless hours, the financial investment, the investment where I'm leaving my family home. You know, that is, people don't think about those things. They just see the glitz and glam on social media. So I was like, it's a price to come with this. And I'm not even halfway where I'm trying to go. So just continue to follow the journey. And if you really want to see something major, just stay tuned because it's coming. So I know that was long drawn out.
I like that. I like
but,
that. But again, what you said through all of that was you wrote it down, you focused on it. Then when it came to fruition, when your number was called, you was ready. And I think a lot of times what does happen at times is that people they don't answer the call, right? One thing that I love is this aspect of grinding. I got that from 2 Chainz, right? It's a little bit of grind and it's a little bit of timing come together, and that's going to be the perfect moment for you. But you got to be ready for it. And you just, I mean, that's exactly what you encapsulated. Now I'll say, Wade, same question for you, man. What you know, at this point, at this stage where you are now in life, what would you say has been your greatest accomplishments thus far, and why?
I feel like I've had a lot of accomplishments over the years of me being a barber and a hair replacement specialist. But I would say the most rewarding one is knowing that I traveled and taught so many people and like opened a door for so many barbers and stylists all around the world, man. To gain more income, to make more impact by offering the hair replacement service to people, because it was something when I first got into it, it wasn't like popular. And so from like me being, I was on HBO, Vice News, been on Rachel Ray's show, BET, ESPN, I've been featured in Forbes, a lot of different publications and stuff like that, but it just made it more popular. So from that, it's opened doors for me to travel literally around the world to teach. And I was in London one time, and one of my students, he came to the States. I've taught a class in London, but he came to the States to learn. And he was like, bro, I gotta meet you. I gotta pull up on you and just like buy you dinner or something like that, because I learned that, and now I'm over here in London making all this money because of something you taught me. You know, man, like that feeling was so dope, because it was like, man, like, you know, little old me from Maryland, you know, just traveling the world, like it was dope, and just being able to be exposed to so much from just cutting hair. It wasn't anything that I saw before. I never saw a barber reach these levels, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't have like a mentor in the game like that. I've reached out to people and they didn't want to mentor me, but just knowing that I'm able to mentor other people, and be that example, man, it's dope. It's rewarding, like so.
No, and you bring up a great point about we're now opening new lanes for people, by being innovative, right? And it's. I'm sure you heard this, like, bro, ain't nobody go buy that. And it's okay, but they are. And then now how popular it's become, and being at a forefront on that, and just hearing those conversations of people, I know that moved you in a way where it's like, wow.
Yeah, because when I first started, man, it was so taboo. It was like, oh, no, I'm not getting that. That's gay. I'm not doing that, right? And so now it's just like those same people, now they come in and like their girls is like, oh my God, yeah, he need to get this and that. And I believe, so like anything you put in front of people, the more you put it and expose them, it becomes normal. It becomes normal at that point. And so like it's so dope knowing that I was able to be a part of that. You know what I mean? And I opened a lot of doors for other people. So it's really a blessing.
Man, and it's a blessing to be a blessing to others, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, shifting gears just a tad, right? Coming back to this, or bringing it back to the aspect of focus. Wade, what would you say is one thing that you do that you waste time on, and you catch yourself like, dang, I'm supposed to be doing this, and you have to bring yourself back?
Hey man, I mean, I think all of us, sometimes social media, bro, that's the main thing. Like sometimes you scrolling, you getting sidetracked, and then I have to put in my notes, like my to-do list for the day. Sometimes I try to tackle as much as I can, but I'm like, dang, I was supposed to be doing this. You know what I mean? You so busy scrolling or doing something else. Like, so I think for me, sometimes social media is a big thing for me. Honestly.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Jermaine, what about you? What's one of the things that you find yourself wasting time on? It's like, I'm not focused right now.
I would definitely say social media. Because it's like I'm on my laptop, I'm editing, but I got my phone here, and next thing I know, it's this video, and then I'm dying laughing, then I keep hitting replay, and then I'm sharing it to other people. Next thing you know, like, wait a minute, I done wasted 30 minutes.
Yeah. It gets like that's a slippery slope when it comes to checking the feed. When you look back on your journey, other people have poured into you, right? Because I know both of you are pouring into other people. Right. Now, Wade, you did say you didn't necessarily have a mentor.
Yeah.
But Wade, what's one piece of advice that you would say was the best piece of advice, or one that stuck with you, that you was not, you wouldn't be here without that one piece of advice?
Dang, man, it's been a few things. I feel like, just embracing life and being in the moment. Somebody kind of just, I'm grateful that I have different people in just a part of my journey that help me along the way, whether it's a friend, whether it's a client, whether it's somebody that just kind of pours into you and just may just have a conversation. It may not even be a whole tight relationship, but just having that one conversation that just kind of just changes your trajectory and changes your focus a little bit. So, just being in the moment. I think sometimes because I lost focus along the way, over the years, sometimes you beat yourself up, and you don't allow yourself to just live. I'm a Virgo in every way. I'm very calculated, and I'm very much a perfectionist, and I'm hard on myself. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, and just being able to just, somebody was just like, listen, you just gotta just take it easy. Yeah. And don't be so calculated trying to do everything by the book, you know what I'm saying? Just be in the moment, live life, and if you mess up, that's part of your journey, and that's gonna help somebody else, you know what I'm saying? Because I try to avoid certain pain, and it's like your pain and your things, your trials, everything you go through is making you into a better person. You're not going through it just for yourself. You know what I'm saying? It gives you a greater testimony, a greater experience, so you can help somebody else to get through it as well. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't go through nothing, what you can tell somebody for real. You know what I mean? So it's trying to avoid those things, and you just once you don't avoid it and just let it be, and you find yourself, just conquering, just going through it. Yeah. Sometimes some things you got to get over, some things you got to go through, but you just got to make it happen. Yeah. And stick with it.
I like how you closed that. One of the biggest things that I got from my former pastor was, if you're going through something, keep going.
Yeah.
Because if you're going through it and you stop, you're going to sit right here in this storm.
Absolutely.
But if you're going through it and you keep going, you're going to come out on the other side of that. So I love that you hit on that.
Yeah.
Now, Jermaine, what about you, man? What's been one of the best pieces of advice you've received along the way that have helped you to get to where you are today?
Man, I think one of the best pieces of advice is never to limit yourself, and never let anybody belittle your dream, because nobody will feel the passion and feel what you feel about your dream, your ideas, because a lot of us tend to get these amazing ideas and we share it with people who are sometimes even jealous of us, or they just be like, you're doing too much. And it's like, no, everything that I really do is to go farther, but the farther I go, there's a ton of people that's connected to me. Yeah. So as I'm going up, I'm like this, pulling other people up. Yeah. I'm going to this next position. I can't do the stuff that I was doing there, but guess what? There's an army of people that's coming that I've been building up that I'm pulling now to fill that void. And that every time I go up, I'm bringing the next level, the next level, the next level of people. So, I try not to so I'm very cautious now about who I share my vision to. I share my vision with people who can add on to it or say, bro, whatever you need from me, let me know, and I can help you out. That's what I'm gonna do. So, just being cautious of who you share your vision and dreams, and never let people say you can't do that. Because if I'd have listened to people years ago, I wouldn't be where I'm at now.
Yeah, yeah. It's a great point, man. A lot of dreams die with that first conversation that you had with somebody. You tell them, I'm gonna do this, and they're like, out of here. What you mean? Like, there's no way that you could do that. And so many people are often, to your point, limited by their own thoughts of themselves, to where they're like, well, and then let somebody else come and tell you no. You like, okay, well, I already doubted it anyway. But because somebody else cemented that doubt in you, that dream or that vision or that opportunity that you could have made for yourself, it's no longer there because you missed your chance, you missed your window. Yeah. So I appreciate that. What would you say, Wade, is the worst piece of advice somebody gave you? You thought they were trying to help you, but it's like you could have kept that to yourself.
Oh man, now I got to think about that. Oh shoot. Oh man. I mean, I guess it goes back to, all right. So say for instance, I was in a relationship. I wouldn't say this is advice. It was just more so somebody just trying to kind of damper your dream, I would say. You know what I'm saying? So I was in a relationship with this young lady, and I was telling her I wanted to start getting into this hair placement or just doing women's hair. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, nope, you're not doing that. I'm not gonna be around for that, this and that. Like, she literally was like, I'm gonna break up with you if you actually do that, because I know they're gonna be trying to holler at you. She was insecure, and it just kind of, and so I got to the point where I was like, you know what, I ain't gonna do it. You know what I mean? And I let it, ruin, because I knew there was more. I knew it was great. I was like, oh, me being a barber, I max out at a certain amount of money I can make a day. Right. I max out at just my impact. But I was like, yo, it's more for me. One of my boys hit me up, so it was crazy. And this what gave me the motivation too, because it's like, yo, he a barber. His wife is a hairstylist. They have a shop in Chicago together. And he was like, bro, my wife taught me how to do a weave, bro. I just made $500 off of one head. I was like, yo, so I was like, yo, I want to get into that myself, you know what I mean? So I tell Shorty, she was like, oh, absolutely not. So, but I'm glad I kept going, and I didn't I let it dampen me for a little bit. Yeah. I did, but I just you know what? I know there's more. So I ended up getting into the hair replacement stuff and all that. It just kind of was the door, and that was the key for my next level. You know what I'm saying? So I say that. Yeah, so as far as advice, I think
that first getting that first no and hearing that first no,
I
love that. I love that. Jermaine, what about you, man? What was the worst piece of advice? Please don't say it came from Rock Mitchell. But what was probably the worst piece of advice you received over the years?
Oh man, I think, I know when I said I was going to Africa the first time. And somebody said, are you crazy? You can get eaten by a lion or a bear or, and I was like, you're right. Because we got to really think about it. A lot of what we see on TV about Africa, especially 6 and 7 years ago, is not like what we see now. Because of social media and Instagram, it's totally different now. But 5 or 6 years ago, you only, let me turn on Nat Geo. And what you see, that's all he showed that. Or you turn the TV on at 12 o'clock at night. Oh, this is little JoJo, and he need water. And then he really signed up for $25. So it was like, oh, sheesh. And somebody asking me to go for 30 days. Ooh. But you know what? I said, you know what? This could be an opportunity that could completely change my life. Do I listen to the person or persons saying, I don't think you should do it? Or do I step out on faith and listen to my gut and say, you always said you wanted to travel. You always said you wanted to go to Africa. Yeah. This is your chance to do it. Yeah. And I stepped out and I did it. And literally going to Africa made me the man I am today. Because it opened my eyes about philanthropy, which I grew up around philanthropy because my grandmother was a giver. I seen my parents just give. And I give to people, when people ask money, I give, but I didn't understand really why I was giving. I just give because something was like, okay, let me just give it to them. Don't judge people. But going to Africa allowed me to sit and talk to people and understand, like, listening to conversations from people who literally are 20 plus years old and have never had a cup or a glass of clean drinking water opens your eyes to a whole different mindset. And since the first time going, I've started a nonprofit there. I'm currently building a school there. My team has built a well there, actually 2 wells. We've been doing a lot of work, not just there, but we built a well in India last year. So just opening a gateway and opening my mind to be able to go and see Africa for myself and experience it myself, it gave me a whole different level of humility. And the spirit of complaining, I could never part my lips and complain about anything once I've seen that. It's one thing to see it on TV, but to literally live in it for 30 days is totally different.
Man, our experiences shape us, right? And that's an experience that you had that has now shaped your trajectory and shaped who you are. What would you say, so when you think about your regiment, right, and maybe it's, preparing for a shoot, what would you say are a couple of things that you do consistently that you feel as though, again, are taking you down the path that you're on? Maybe it's, the mindset that you carry, how you wake up, how you start your day. What are a couple of things that you do that maybe somebody else could do that's basically what has worked for you to get you to where you are today?
Oh, definitely. For me, I wake up every morning at 5:30. First thing I do is pick up my phone, I read a scripture, and I listen to a song. And I share it on social media. I've been doing it for almost 3 years now. And it is crazy because my Instagram got hacked a couple weeks ago. And I'm not gonna lie, I was almost damn near depressed. And then I had to really think about it, like, man, you gotta think about all those people that you were giving a word to every morning, that you was giving a song to every morning, in the inboxes and the messages people were sending. And I said, you know what? Let me start another account. Yeah, I got to start from scratch, but again, it ain't about me. It's about the impact that I can make. And literally, it's crazy. And being with Black Menswear allowed me to make connections all over the world. It's a brother who was in New Orleans, actually. It was a scripture I posted today. He DM'd me and said, bro, you don't know how bad I needed that. Like, literally, I was in a bad space. Yeah. And I woke up, and the first thing I swiped, I seen that. Thank you for helping me change the trajectory of how my day would have went. Yeah. So for me, it's all about getting my mind right because, I really don't listen to rap music, to be honest, because what you put into your mind is sometimes how you start thinking and how you act. If you get in my car, 90% of the people know I might have gospel music on. It's just because it keeps me at a safe space because I used to be in the streets and I used to do all those crazy things. So I know staying in a mental space and a spiritual space, it really helps get me that. And I think just prayer is the key ingredient to everything I do.
Yeah, no, I love that. And when you think about the consistency in that, right? Every day, wake up, every day, do the same thing. Coming back to your focus, right? In order to be consistent, you have to be focused on the importance of what you're doing. Yeah. And I love that. Man, I tried to do a lot of things for a long time, and they just I do it for, we good. 7 days in, baby, we good. Yeah. And then let this, again, get off track one time, and next thing I know, I ain't done it for 5 years, right? And so I love that consistency that you have with that, that helps you. And again, I love that you shared that for others. Maybe somebody gets up, again, it's starting fresh, right? Everything that happened yesterday is over, you woke up, let's start over. And I love that that's your way to do that, so I appreciate it. But you, Wade, anything that you do that you would attribute to where you're at today that's kind of keep pushing you and getting you to where you are?
Something similar to what Jermaine said, like prayer, bro. Like that's the key ingredient, and just praying and talking and meditating and kind of focusing, calming your spirit and just like, all right, I always pray and ask God, like, listen, what is it that you got for me today? What is it that you want me to do today? And I try to be led by that and, try to stay focused with that. Also, the power of your words, just speaking things. Sometimes I have to check myself sometimes. You know, you may speak something, and our words are so powerful, bro. Yeah. What we say comes to life. There's so much power in our words. So if you speak the good, good will happen. You speak negative, that negative is going to manifest. Right. So we have to be cautious about the things that we say, and I try to be mindful of that every day. That I can. Sometimes, like I said, I have to. You get off focus, and I got to check myself. Like, you know what? I'm not going to speak that, even though that's how I'm feeling right now. We're not going to put that in the atmosphere for that to manifest. For real. You know what I'm saying?
That kind of comes back to Jermaine's point. Even from the music perspective, you putting things in the atmosphere, it's going to bounce off that wall. You're going to hear it.
Absolutely.
And then you're going to be thinking about it from a space of, dang, well, because I said it, I heard it. Yeah. Now it's back in me, and now it resonates with you. So I appreciate you sharing that as well. Yeah. Man, guys, we're coming to the end here, so I got another couple of questions I got to ask you guys. Wade, if you had a billboard, and you could put one message on that billboard, this is a billboard that's seen by the entire world, so somehow you got a satellite over the whole world. Probably talked to Elon Musk and got some access up there. But just one message that you would tell the entire world, what would that be?
I think right now is don't give up, keep going. Because I think, even though that's cliche, it's real. It's something real. I think it's, even with the pandemic happening and how life has just been happening for everybody, a lot of people giving up on it. They don't have no hope, bro. It's like they lost hope. They lost their dreams of God. You know, they're just like, oh, well, that thing tried to creep up on me for a little bit, because of when the pandemic first happened, it was like, dang, the end of the world. Like, all right, well, everything I set to do was like, all right, it's a wrap. Just be content, and just, it is what it is. But no, like, life still has to go on. You still have dreams, you still have visions and things you have to manifest, and you have to, have to bring into fruition. So it's like, no, you got to keep going. I know that the circumstance may seem very stressful for you right now, where you're in the middle of it, but like, you got to get past it, because tomorrow's gonna be better. Next week gonna be better. The next month gonna be better. So you just got to keep going and keep striving. So that's what I would say.
I love that, man. I love that. Keep going. Yeah. Don't give up. Keep going. To your point, especially in a time where that's so easy to do it right now.
Absolutely.
So easy to do it right now. So I thank you, sir. Yeah. Jermaine, what would you say if you had a billboard? What would that billboard say? What would your message to the world be?
It's gonna be short, and it's something that I live by, and especially in this times, I think it piggyback off of what we said. It's about hope. So for my message would be, for with God, nothing is impossible. If you really let that sit and resonate in your spirit, it's gonna hit you in a different way. Like, wow, you right. I got sidetracked. Things ain't going the way I need to be, but for with God, nothing is impossible. If I start putting that and really let that, if I say that every day in my mind and letting it soak in my spirit, you're gonna start seeing a drastic change. And I think it's short, it's simple, and it's a sentence that if you say it, and you're gonna start believing it. And then if you start believing it, you're gonna start walking in it. You start walking in it, you're gonna start talking in it. You start talking in it, you're gonna start sharing with other people. And now you're helping to impact and change other people's mindset.
Nah, I love that, man. With God, nothing is impossible. I think that's actually a great place for us to close out tonight. Thank you for the benediction. Thank you guys for tuning in to another great episode of Dapper Conversations here in Baltimore. We've got Wade Menendez, we've got Jermaine Gibbs with us today. So again, y'all be sure, share it, YouTube, make sure other people have heard this, because they dropped a few gems today. Make sure you don't miss out on those, pass those on to other people. But we appreciate y'all rocking with us at Black Menswear. Appreciate, we here in Studio G&M. Shout out to the team here. Rock Mitchell behind the camera. Thank you for the hospitality, brother. I knew this is home, right? So I can come in here and throw stuff on my phone too, because you work with me. So I appreciate that. I appreciate y'all. And again, guys, thank you for the team, everybody that's here today. Thank you for tapping in, and can't wait to see y'all next time.